I think it should. Okay, it's recording.
Okay. We'll have a minute. What of Regina? Is she here?
No,
Is she not logging
she's
in?
going to log in. She's going to join.
Just 1 minute.
I think we'll wait for 5.
Kadida, do you know if Gara is joining?
Well, I think they should be joining. It's 5 o'clock already, so that we
it's fine.
don't
So we
waste
don't.
much time. I guess we
Yeah.
have quite a lot to cover. I don't know who is going to be our moderator. Do we have a moderator? Because I think Ketura just messaged me a while ago. She was asking if it's going to be recorded. So I was assuming that she might be.
Yeah, there's 2 of us. Me, and Regina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is that Regina?
that's Regina over there.
Hello, Regina.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
we can.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. I'm Regina.
Yeah, I'm Gloria.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine.
So we are going to wait for a bit, 5 minutes maybe, and then we'll start. 4 minutes now. Then we can start at 5:05. I don't know why people are not joining.
Sorry?
I don't know why people are not joining.
They will. He's on the board.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It doesn't affect my network.
No, I
Right.
don't think so.
So I told him that my messages will be popping up here.
Mm.
But he said it's a lie.
Do both.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. We cannot wait for other people to join. I think they'll join as we go on. So we are going to start the meeting now. Hi everyone again. My name is Ketura, and I just want to briefly tell you what's happening and why we are meeting today. So I currently come from an organization called the AFL, which is an organization that was started by DAAD scholars together so that we can change Africa through collaboration. And for this event today, the AFL has partnered with the Harley Youth Foundation on a project called Pat the Girl Child. And this project is a project that's aimed at, as you can hear from the name, padding the girl child. So the project is aimed at providing reusable sanitary pads to women in rural Nigeria, but also teaching them how to make these pads. And for another aspect of this project was to ensure that there is a sort of mobilization and sensitization about the use of plastic pads, reusable pads, which are plastic, and how they can be a danger to our health. So this is the part that we want to deal with, especially on this call. And so we want to create a sort of awareness on plastic pads and how much harm they can cause the environment, and also to try and advocate for reusable pads. So with us here, we have people from Harley Youth and also people from AFL. And right now, I'm going to invite Regina to give us a brief introduction about our facilitator who's going to be telling us more about, who's going to be sensitizing us more about this use of plastics and plastic pads. Yeah. Thank you so much. Regina, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ketura. I'm glad to be here, and I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. And our speaker for today is Gloria Ajugo Ezeocha. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. And Gloria is a dedicated scientist and an educator with a profound academic journey in life sciences. Her foundation was built with a Bachelor BTech in Industrial Microbiology, a Master's of Science and PhD in Medical Microbiology from the Federal University of Technologies of Owerri, and Namdi Azikiwe University, where she taught as a microbiology lecturer. She's driven by passion for environmental health, and currently she's pursuing a PhD in exotoxicology at the prestigious Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research in Germany, using zebrafish embryo model. This unique path, combining deep expertise in microbiology, hands-on university lecturing, and now frontier environmental researcher, provides a critical and comprehensive perspective, perfectly positioning her to guide our discussion for Padega project. So let's give a warm welcome to Gloria, and we look forward to learning from you. This floor is yours, Gloria.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So I'll go directly to share my screen, sorry. Can you see my screen? Hope it's visible.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
But is it in slide? Is it kind of slide mode?
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll go back and check it.
It's great now.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Gloria, and I'm to talk on the environmental and health risk of the plastic disposable sanitary pads. Yeah, just like Ketura said earlier, those are part of the GIRL project is a sustainable wellness initiative that attempts to encourage eco-friendly and sustainable alternatives to our menstrual health. Yeah, before we start, we ladies, we use sanitary pad always, and I know every month we must use it, except maybe when someone is pregnant. So I would like to ask, what type of pad do you use? Is it the disposable or the reusable pad? Which of them? I know your answer would be disposable sanitary pad because that's the one we mostly know, and that's the one that is really around us. Yeah, by way of introduction, the disposable plastic sanitary pad is the same pad that we already know. It's the one we find in the street, we find in the market, we find in the pharmacy, the one we use every month. We call it sanitary pad, but the real name is disposable plastic sanitary pad. Why do we put plastic? We put plastic because this pad is made of 90% plastic materials. It's made up of 90% of plastic materials. There are different materials that are used in the production, and all these materials, they are plastic based. Fine. We'll not dispute the fact that it absorbs menstrual flow, is very convenient and hygienic. That is true. But these plastic based materials that are used in their production is kind of creating and contributing to environmental waste, also contributing adverse health effects. Let's do a little mathematics here. Fine. A girl experiences her menarche between the ages of 12 and 13. Oh, sorry, I know we have professionals here, but please, I would like to be breaking the words I use, please. Please just pardon me so that everybody will follow, both the people in the field and those that are not in the field. Fine. So the menarche, I mean the first menstruation that a girl experiences is called menarche. So she experiences it around the ages of 12 and 13. And she continues till she gets to menopause. Menopause, that's when she doesn't have menstrual flow again, and which is around the age of 45 to 55 years. So if you do a little calculation there, you agree with me that an average of 37.5 years of her reproductive life, she has been using this menstrual pads. Okay, let me use the word, we'll call it the sanitary pad, which makes her to use about 12,000 single use, that's 12,000 pieces of this pad during her lifetime. That's her reproductive age years, sorry. So the graph by the left or right signifies the growth, that's the trend in which research that scientists are researching towards these plastic pads, because they have found out that there is really something with this. So they delve into research so that they can find out more, because a lot of illnesses are there as a result of this, but most people are not aware. In fact, this from 2014 to 2024. I didn't even add the 2025, which has the highest. Yeah, this is a picture of the one we know. Yes, this is the sanitary pad that we use every month. Knowing the anatomy or the structure will help us to really understand what we are talking about. If you have it at hand, it will just be it will be one. But if you pieces it, maybe you want to use it in the lab for maybe research and other analysis, this is how it will be pieces. This is the anatomy. It's made up of different layers of materials, and all these materials, they are all plastic based. Like the top sheet, that's the number one. The top sheet is the part that comes in contact with our private part. When you put it, it's kind of laps with our private part. And from research, our private part has soft tissues that can absorb anything that comes close to it. And remember, there are different dangerous chemicals that have been used in the production of these parts, which are now coming in contact with our vagina, and our vagina will absorb, send them to the bloodstream, and they'll be distributed everywhere. The same layer, different layers, different plastic makeup, and different dangerous chemicals. Yeah, let's talk about the health risk entirely. There is chemical or microplastic exposure. Yes. Remember, they are disposable sanitary pads and they contain different chemicals because each layer has a different chemical that is being used in the production. And most of these chemicals that are used in their production has been linked to one problem or the other, to one cancer, diseases, endocrine disruption, and all that. But they are still using these chemicals in the production of these materials. I tell you, most developed countries, they've known most of these things and they are very careful about what they are using. In fact, most of the chemicals have been banned, but Nigeria, we only do science in the lab, but the regulation is, I don't want to use the word weak. And remember, a woman is being exposed to these parts for 37 and a half years of her life, telling you that when there is much exposure, the risk is high. This is a pie chart that shows there's health risk that are associated with different chemicals, as I said, that are used in the production of these parts. You have reproductive health issues, which is almost 30.0%. You have neurological effects. You hear that she gave birth, the baby is having cerebral palsy, the baby is having a neurological one problem or the other. There's skin irritation, allergies, there's cancer risk, there's hormonal disruption, different health risk have been associated with most of these chemicals. Fine. Another one is endocrine disruption. Most of these chemicals that are used in the production of these sanitary pads, they've been associated with endocrine disruption. What do I mean by endocrine disruption? From our basic science days, when we were maybe primary school, let me use that. When we were in primary school, we learned, secondary school in biology, we learned about hormonal system. The hormonal system is the same thing as the endocrine system. And remember, hormones are chemical messengers. They are messengers of the body. Just like in a palace, we have messengers, the Eze or Igwe is there, the wife, messengers are here and there. Hey, bring water, you go and bring water, bring food, you go and bring. That is the way these hormones are. They are there waiting for instructions. So when they are giving instructions, they go and carry out the instruction. So what these chemicals, most of these chemicals that are used in the production of this part, what they do is that they will go and disrupt this hormonal pathway. Yes, they will start giving them instruction because there are three different ways they can disrupt this hormonal pathway. Either they mimic, when I use the word mimic, that's they will go and look like the organ that they are taking instruction from. And they will send these hormones, go and do this. They will go and start doing it, thinking that is their organ, not knowing that is a chemical that have mimicked their organ. Most times they will tell them, I start producing this cell, I'll start producing this organ or this tissue. They will start thinking that they are on the right path. Remember, cancer cells, they are normal cells, but because they have wrong information or whatever, you see them, they'll start doing one thing or the other that they are not supposed to do. So most of these chemicals, they have been linked to different problems in the body. In fact, recently, I think, REACH, when I say REACH, that's the European Union, that's their chemical regulatory unit. They've listed out some chemicals that are supposed to, they call them chemicals of high concern. And most of these endocrine disrupting chemicals are there. Why did they put them? Why did they list them out? They are chemicals, they want people to be aware of them because they are causing a lot of things out there. This is a bar chart that shows different cancer types that have been associated with these chemicals. Look at breast cancer, 35%. Ovarian cancer, endometrial, there are different cancers that have been associated with majority of these chemicals that are used in the production of the plastic that we are using as parts. And like I said before, most developed countries, they are not using most of these things again. And most of these chemicals, they've been kind of banned out of the environment, but they are all still in our countries. So that's why we are trying to create awareness so that we can be aware. This is a trend. It's a trend in health conditions that shows different That's from epidemiological studies. It shows different increases. You can see how the trend is increasing. Different health conditions potentially linked to these endocrine disrupting hormones I was talking about. These are different. You can see reproductive health issues, hormonal disruption, cancer rates, skin irritation, allergies, neurological effects. There are many of them. And this is 2000 to 2025. And as you can see, the trend continues. The trend continues, and as the trend is continuing, people are dying. People are dying. There is much exposure. Most people are not aware, and people are dying as this trend continues. Yes, this one talks about, like, there are researches now proving that the microplastic, these parts, they will pieces into little pieces, and they will be absorbed into the system. So from research now, it has been proven that the microplastics part of this and the nanoplastic part, they can now cross the placenta. And when they cross the placenta, they will go and kind of attack the unborn child that is in the womb, exposing the child to most of these chemicals, even while still in the womb. Yes, even while still in the womb. And apart from crossing the placenta, they can also cross the blood-brain barrier. I don't want to go deep into that so that I don't confuse people that maybe it's not their lane. But this crossing the placenta is a very big problem, because the placenta, we know, does not allow anything that is not useful to cross. Yes, it only selects nutrients, antibodies, and good things, and cross them over from the mother to the child so that the child that is in the womb can be fed. But anything that is not of useful, it blocks it. But for these microplastics to be found crossing the placenta is a very deadly situation. And how did they find this? Many placentas that have been, the placenta, they call it afterbirth. So the scientists have taken it to the lab, and they found out lots of microplastics in the placenta. Yes. Yes, let's talk about the environmental impact. Yes, for the environmental impact, there is plastic pollution. When I say plastic pollution, in fact, when the environment is polluted, it's a very big problem, because remember, we are what our environment is. If your environment is neat, good, it will impact on your health. But if your environment is polluted, honestly, it will affect you one way or the other. And looking at these plastic sanitary pads, they take 500 to 800 years for one to decompose in the environment. Just for one to decompose in the environment. 500 to 800 years for one plastic sanitary pad to decompose in the environment. With that, in fact, no need to talk about what it stands to cause in the environment. And most times, they find their way into our oceans. Yes, there is marine plastic pollution. Most of these plastics, they find their way into our oceans. And remember, there's life in the ocean, or in the river, or in the water. We have fishes there, crayfish. We all eat crayfish. Most of these crayfish, fish, everything, they are all found in the ocean. And from research, microplastics have been found in fishes. Yes, recently. They have been found in fishes. How did these fishes get these microplastics? Did they come to our house to eat them? No. It was through all these processes. Either maybe they are thrown away in the environment because they cannot decompose, they will disintegrate. When they disintegrate, they will pieces. Most of them will mesh in the soil. When they mesh in the soil, they will embed in the plant, and that plant will also produce a carrot that you're using. The plant will produce the cassava you're using to do one or two things. And when there is rainfall, it will wash these microplastics as flood into the river. And when it gets there, the fishes, the whatever that is in the river, and you see them taking them up. And one of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, one of them is to protect life in the water. But with all these things, I don't know where we are going to. Yes. So this is an eyesore. You can bet with me. It's an eyesore. Apart from the degradation problem they have, the polluter, in fact, if you look at this, if you go to maybe town, let me say Abuja town, you see places like this, how will you rate that place? 1, it's not decomposing. 2, it makes the environment so ugly and dirty. And mind you, one single pad is equal to 5 polythene bags. Yes, one single pad is equal to 5 polythene bags. When you open your pad bags, yes, if you open the bag or you bought a new one and you open it, you are having about 7 different parts or more than. If one is equal to 5 polythene bags in terms of plastic content, tell me, you are using all these parts every day for the 5 or 7 days in a month that you're kind of using them. There's a problem. And mind you, it's not only in the pad. These diapers that children are using. Okay, we call it Pampers. Yes, we call it Pampers. Yes. The same materials that are used in the production of the sanitary pad is the same material. In fact, is the same material they are using in the production of diapers. That's why if you tie diaper and throw it away in the street, come back next year, it's still there. It cannot decompose. Instead, it will disintegrate. What I mean by the word disintegrate, it will start piecing. You will not see it decomposing. Instead, it will start disintegrating. And by the time it starts disintegrating, the chemicals that have been used to hold those materials together, they are being broken down. Remember, if it's in the environment, there is rain, there is sun, different environmental factors are acting on it. And because it cannot decompose, it will start disintegrating. So when it disintegrates, it mixes up with the soil. From the soil, it can find a way around, maybe on our table, or God forbid. Yes. So that's why most times if you go to hospitals, you see small children having one issue or the other. You'll be asking yourself, when did this child grow and start having this problem? Most of them, remember, the Pampers that we wear children, because they are made of most of these chemicals and plastics, and the girl child, there is direct contact of her private parts with the Pampers. There is problem. Not only the girl child, even the boy, there is problem, because most of these chemicals, they leach into our body. Oh, sorry, the word leach means they penetrate into our body. And when they penetrate into our body, they find themselves in our body systems, that's in our blood. And the blood will help in sharing them. You go to hospital, you see small children suffering one problem or the other. You'll be asking, when did this child get exposed to this kind of a thing? Because of this research now that it can now cross the placenta and the blood-brain barrier, is a very big problem. Telling you that the child can be exposed even while not yet born. Yes, it's a very big problem, and we need to sit up and see what we can do. Fine. It can also be a threat to our food chain. Yes, just like I said before, because they cannot degrade, they will start piecing. When they pieces, they mix up with the soil. One way or the other, they'll be carried to the water, you know. At the end of the day, they are still found around us. So they can also be a problem when you talk about carbon footprint. What is carbon footprint? Carbon footprint simply means the total amount of greenhouse gas emissions that a person is kind of producing during your activities for the day. Just your normal activities, going to work, you know. In Germany here, the first time I came, I was like, why are they always riding bicycle? That's my question. Even the day my let me not say something. Yes, I was like asking, why are they all riding bicycle? So I was made to understand that it is environmentally friendly, because when they ride the bicycle, they are not using fossil fuels. And remember, they are not using maybe diesel, petrol, all those stuff. And because they are not using those things, greenhouse gases are not being emitted in the environment. Yes, it's helping to kind of control greenhouse gas emission in that aspect. And remember the dangers of greenhouse gases in our environment. They have depleted the ozone layer that is even supposed to kind of help us. The more these green gases are being released in the environment, the more they are depleting the ozone layer. That's why when there is sunshine, in fact, you'll be asking, am I a hellfire already? You know, because the ozone layer that is supposed to at least shield part of the sun has been depleted. And because it has been depleted, the person is having direct sunshine. Tomorrow you hear, hey, cancer of the skin, cancer of the this and that. Most of these things, they are being released in the environment. Fine. I know within you now, you be asking, all these things, I'm scared though, this and that. No, 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 don't be scared. You might be asking, hey, if all these things have to do with the sanitary pad that we are using, so what are we then going to use? This is a monthly something that is natural. I cannot control it on my own. So what are we going to use? Don't be scared. I brought the good news. Yes, the good news is reusable sanitary pads. Yes, that's the good news. Why are they called reusable sanitary pad? Reusable, the word. You use them on and on. After using, you use again. Yes, they are washable. You can use them again. It's not single use like the sanitary, like the plastic one is single use. Why is it single use? You just use one and throw it away. But those ones, they are not single use. You can use them, wash them, dry them, and reuse them again. Yes, and they are really sustainable. Yes, they will help in different ways. So that's the good news that we brought today. If all these things can be found in the plastic sanitary pad, the reusable sanitary pad is a very good alternative. Yeah. I kind of compared the disposable sanitary pad and the reusable sanitary pad by their numbers. The green one there, the blue color there signifies their plastic content, while the red one, that's this one, signifies their decomposition time. See, this one is for disposable parts, while this one is for reusable parts. If you watch, for the disposable part, their plastic content, just like we said earlier, they are more than 90%. Here is 80, here is 100. That means 90 should be around here. They are more than 90% plastic content. Then if you look at the other side, which is their decomposition time, for disposable, this is 650. And I said before that they have 500 to 800 years just to decompose, only one. Then if you come to the reusable parts, you have 0% for plastic content and you have 0% for years, telling you that the reusable is the best. Fine. So these are different benefits that we can get from this reusable sanitary pads. Health benefits. This one, you're not scared again. Hope this thing I'm using is not made of plastic. Hope this thing I'm using, the chemical they use in producing it, hope it's safe. In fact, you don't need to worry about that again. Environmental impact. The environment is no longer polluted because you're using a reusable pad, because as you're reusing it, you can use it up to 5 to 10 years before changing it, depending on how well you keep it. Then you have economic savings. Bet me, girls or women, every month you must buy pad. That one is certain. Even if you don't have money for snacks, you must buy pad. Even if you don't have money, you go and borrow, you must buy pad, unless you want to disgrace yourself outside. So if you start making use of the reusable pad, it will help in saving that little money you spend on pad every month. You can save it for something else. Comfort and convenience. Depending on your menstrual flow need, you can make your own to be very comfort and convenient for you. Yeah, I know you'll be asking, this reusable pad is very unhygienic. It will cause infection for me. It's a lie. That's a big lie. Depending on how clean you keep it, it will not cause any infection for you. Yes, it will not. If maybe before you've been taking five minutes to take your bath, during your menstrual time, add 1 minute. You are using 1 minute to wash your pad. Yes, add 1 minute. And remember, it's just 5 to 7 times days in a month. It will not kill you. If they dish cancer on the plate and dish good health, which one will you take? And they are telling you that this good health, you only get it through when you wash your pad and all that. I know you rush the other one. Yes, another myth, you may be saying, washing reusable pad is difficult and time consuming. It's a lie. Just bear in mind that I am doing this for my health. Yes, I'm doing this for my health. So when you have that at the back of your mind, I don't think it will be difficult. Then you say reusable pads are not absorbent as disposable pads. It's a lie. They are. There are different materials that are used in their production. Depending on your flow need. If you have a heavy flow, they will use the thicker materials to produce your own. If you have a regular flow, they will use the lighter material to produce your own. Depending on your flow, there are parts for you. Yes, I know you'll be asking, how can I make this switch? Yes, it's very difficult. I know. We are all humans. We are all humans, yes. I have to be sincere. We are all humans. But I'm advising you, you can start small, small. Start small, small. Maybe if you can, this month, you can use 3 disposable, add 2 reusable. Next month, reduce it, add more of reusable. Next month, before you know it, you have embedded. Then you choose the right type. There are different materials out there. There are different this and out there. So just choose the right type that suits your menstrual flow. Then proper care. Make sure you take good care of it, because it's something that has to do with your health. If you keep it anyhow, remember, it will have direct contact with your body. So if you just keep it anyhow in the environment, you're also bringing back infection. Yes, empowering change. Our role now. Why are we doing this? We are trying to sensitize people, create awareness, let people know that this is what is happening. The pad that we think that we are using, this is what it is made of. Please, let's find something to do about it. That's the essence of this sensitization. So what can you do in your own little niche? Make the switch first. Make the switch by switching over to use of reusable menstrual pads. After that, share this knowledge with your friends, with your families, with your community. Share the knowledge to anybody that is around you. Fine. Down here in Germany, I know it's not really a problem because they are already aware of most of these things. And there are different parts. There is not a problem to kind of get pad and all that. But in Nigeria, let me use Nigeria as an example. Many people are not aware of this. Please share this knowledge. Then you advocate for sustainable menstrual products. Yes. I know you will not be happy when you hear, even if it's your worst enemy, that, hey, the person died though. They are not asking what really happened. You say, maybe cancer, this and that, all those stuff. Most of the things we are using, we don't even know what is causing one problem or the other. Like there's a chemical I'm working on. They use it as flame retardant. What do I mean by flame retardant? During our physics days, retardation, moving back, something that is slowing, flame, light. So when we say flame retardant, that means something that slows fire. They put it in foam. That's why, and the foam we sleep on. Yes, that's why even if there's fire outbreak, most foams don't get burnt because already the company have put flame retardant in it. That flame now, the chemical they use for that flame retardant, it will now help to resist fire. Even if there's fire in the whole building, the foam may not get burnt. But this flame retardant now is leaking into the environment, causing one problem or the other, and people are not aware. Yes, because they are addictive to the foams, they leak out and you breathe them in. Remember, you sleep on the bed almost every day. When these things are being leaked into the environment, you're breathing them in. Tomorrow, you say, hey, my body is doing me somehow. They'll go to lab. They're not finding anything, but the person is dying. Maybe it's one thing or the other that is very close to you that is causing all these things, but we don't know. So that's the essence of this sensitization, so that we can create awareness, be aware of what is happening around you, so that you can put in your little best. Yeah, there's a saying from Margaret Mead that says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. If you look at it, a small group of thoughtful, committed, if they are thoughtful and they are committed, they can make changes. That is not a lie. It is very possible, and we can do it. Yes. Wow. So I'll draw my conclusion with the warning of Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson, she's a writer of Silent Springs. Yes, The Silent Spring is a very popular book in Europe here. I know most of you must have read it. Which talks about Silent Spring. During the spring, the trees are springing up, the birds are coming back from their migration, they are singing, dancing, doing one shakara or the other. The bees are pollinating the flowers. And remember, pollination, transfer of pollen grains from the anthers to the stigma of a flower, to give you that cassava that you're eating. Yes. So when these things are happening, it shows that the environment is very fine. But when there is a silent spring, oh my God, it shows that something is wrong, that the birds are not singing again. They are not back. Oh. We are in spring, the birds did not come back. We are in spring, bees are not pollinating. We are in spring, the trees that are supposed to spring up, we are not doing those things again. What is the problem? Silence by pollution. Yes. She gave a warning that if we did not take time, if we are not careful, there will be a time that will be called silent spring. And this silent spring could be caused by pollution. So, in fact, I don't know. I think I'm able to drive something. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gloria. This was very insightful. I feel I have learned a lot. As a woman, I feel like this knowledge is not, many young girls do not know, and we grow up into women and even older, and we do not have the awareness of what we are wearing. And it's because this knowledge is not as simplified as you've rightfully simplified the knowledge for us to know what we are putting on our bodies and what implications it has. The statistics, but they are very worrying. And I feel very concerned for young girls, especially in Africa, where, as you said, the regulations are kind of weak, or there's a blind spot on the kind of products that are in the market and what and the linkages to the weird diseases that are coming up on the continent. So this is very insightful. I think before we move on to the Q&A, we'll invite someone from Hale Foundation to give us an overview about the production process, and then we can move on to the Q&A.
I think I can stop sharing my slide, right?
Yeah. Mm. Khadija, it's on you, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Can I see? Okay. I hope you can see the slides. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mrs.
Sorry, Khadija.
Gloria.
Sorry, I just wanted to let you know. Can you please refresh it? Maybe
Okay.
just for updates. Yeah,
Okay.
just refresh the web page.
Just a moment.
Great.
Are we good to go? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Gloria. I believe you touched on a lot of things. Just to give a brief introduction about myself, I am Khadija Ibrahim Sulaiman, and currently, I am doing my PhD here in Germany, and also part of the team which we were able to obtain a grant from the British Council. Better outreach on sensitization and also production of this sanitary pad, which is reusable and also environmentally friendly. So the whole idea has been something that Hale Youth Foundation we're working on as of last year. So we decided to just amplify the voices and to know that, okay, this is not just something that, a small group of people would know, especially as you mentioned, like here in Germany, we have a lot of, should I call them alternatives? And you can as well, buy whatever it is. But some of these things are information that people, especially let's say in Nigeria, which is kind of the by national collaboration that we are working with. A lot of people don't really know, like, of course it exists, from the olden days where women use napkins and all, but they never really saw it as an alternative, especially that the use of this plastic came into the market. So our whole aim is to eventually amplify the voice of establishing, in as much as right now we're just looking at making it accessible, but at some point in time I believe it's something that we could amplify to having facilities that would as well sort of do this project in a more amplified size. So for this, I don't know, let me see if um, is it changing? I don't know if has it changed from your side. Okay.
Yes, it
It
has.
is.
So, like I said, Hail Youth is a non-profit organization in Nigeria, and basically what we've been doing so far is skill acquisition, STEM education, back to school intervention, and then again we talked about like the menstrual health innovation and support, which aligns with the current Pack the Girl sustainable wellness, and also in line with the SDG goals, which has to do with good health and well-being, and also climate action, which was, in fact, the main target that we were able to kind of get acknowledgement from the British Council to carry out the awareness for the project. So, so far, the project, we've been able to have like a first phase, and second one actually happened like last week. We were able to do like an outreach to GSS Garki and GSS Jadi. I know a lot of you maybe from Nigeria. If you know Abuja, you would know some of these public schools. So there we've empowered 500 girls, which currently like 360 distributions have been completed, and also training some selected women in the production process. And then we also had like community engagement, which is in line with the climate action program, which had to do with art for change, national campaign, and then we have school campus essay, and then the workshop, and another, which is what we are having currently, the reusable advocacy program, which kind of like relates to the danger of microplastics in the human body and the environment, which yeah, Mrs. Gloria was able to share that with us. And so for the reusable pad, we kind of went through with um, specifications from the UN, which basically gives some of the criteria in which a reusable pad qualifies for it to be used. It must be, non-toxic. It has to be medically safe, highly absorbent, washable, and quick drying, environmentally sustainable. So basically, what we were able to do is to collaborate with a contractor, and this contractor was, able to source locally um, Nigerian cotton, bamboo fiber, and also some Ankara outer fabric to ensure durability. So basically, at the end of the day, we try as much as possible to make sure that the reusable pad is sort of in line with the UN specifications. And this is because at the end of the day, we want it to be that even if you're not able to source, it's something that you could as well make it yourself. Um, uh, uh, in this part of the world, a lot of times you know that there is this DIY encouragement, which is like do it yourself. So it's something that at the end of the day, you could also source for them and equally like carry out this production without trying to maybe try to find it from a factory or something. So it's something that you can as well do it yourself. So here we have like a, should I call it like a leak test to see if it actually goes in line with the um, the plastic pad that we use. So the one in red is the plastic pad, and then the reusable here is, the one that was produced by the contractor. And this, we kind of use like a water test to see the absorption. And also, um, we gave some sort of like a feedback form to those that have been able to get this reusable pads. And I think it's something that we took for like a month and then 2 months and then 3 months to see, we kind of will have to follow up on this to know maybe what could have been the, I don't know how to call, what could have been the feedback from them after, the first month, the second month of usage, and the third month. But at the end of the day, we just know that the reusable pad would, be able to endure as much as 70 washes, 70 to 100 washes, but that can only be ascertained after, the first 3 months. So yeah, that is why we decided to give them the feedback forms to get their should I call it opinion? Yeah, to get their opinion at the end of the day. So this is, as you can see, the absorption tests, which based on the project officer's remarks, it kind of went through that. And another thing is, before collection, there's also like sterilization under, UV to ensure that um, there's no contamination. And also, during packaging, it's handled also with care. So you know that because these things are stuff that will be used with direct contact to the human body, so we'll try as much as possible to reduce any contamination. Yeah, so basically this is just it. At the end of the day, there's best practices which we've also informed the beneficiaries. You ensure that you wash them with mild soaps. You sun dry to prevent infection, because sun drying is like the most perfect sterilization process that you could be able to use. And then rotation, because obviously, like if you're using one for maybe a particular cycle, that is not a good sign. So you have to at least use a rotation technique, which is maybe a one heavy flow and two medium, to ensure that there is durability. And replacement could be at least 18 to 24 months. And this is just like an art that was submitted by one of our beneficiaries of the prizes. And this sort of just gives a perfect um, typical Nigerian, should I say, woman who is, using the pad, and yeah, the person was able to put it in art and express themselves. I think this person got it like a third position or second. I can't really remember. Yeah, so this is all that Hail Youth has been doing over there in Nigeria, trying to, as we said, aside from just the production and outreach, we also give them talks on the good practices of using this reusable pads. And yeah, eventually at the end of the day, yeah, we hope to have more outreach in terms of, you know, the engineering facilities in line with the SDG, yeah, climate action. But for now, this is all that Hail Youth is doing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Khadija. I think that it's a beautiful initiative. I think it's very, very wonderful that you guys have chosen to give back to the community and to give back to girls, because even I in Uganda know that there are so many girls that cannot afford sanitary products, and this would be a wonderful addition. So I hope in the future that you don't just stop in Nigeria, and maybe, you know, you can make your way to Uganda in East Africa and maybe South Africa. Yeah, so I think it's very wonderful, and I thank you so much. So right now, if any of you has any questions or inquiries about the project or about the presentation by Gloria, this would be a good time for you to give your questions to us, and then Gloria and Khadija can answer them. Yes, please. Val, please go on.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from here. My name is Valentine, and it's good to hear about the presentation today. And I must really say that it's quite insightful for me, because these are areas that we, as men, we don't talk about most times. We hardly see them. Only if you're lucky to see your wife's part one day. These are areas we don't even see and even talk about most times. And for me today, I can say that I have a good debate to have with my wife this night, because we will talk about this things thoroughly this night as well. Because to the best of my knowledge, I only see the plastic the disposable parts. I've not seen her use the reusable part. So I'll try to find out from her why she does not use it. Then my question goes this way. Yeah. Okay, Khadija talked about it a bit, about the cleaning, about the washing. She mentioned mind soap. So I want to know more about the mind soap. So like the soaps we have in Nigeria, which ones will be defined as mind soap, and which ones do you advise as the best ones for that for rewashing? Then about the drying, you mentioned thorough sun drying. How long should the thorough be? Like a day drying of the parts, is this sufficient enough to give a good protection? And then, you know, I've seen mothers ironing the clothes of their children based on the idea that when you iron it, it tends to keep away the dust. Do you think it's also advisable to iron these parts? Let's say, for example, you're able to have a long day sun, and you said, probably, should I iron this reusable part? Is it also advisable in this case? So then that's my questions. Thank you so much. So either Khadija or Gloria can respond to the questions. Thank you.
I don't know if I may, Dr. Khadija, what do you think?
You're
Uh,
free.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm the one hidden here. I am going to try to respond to your response, Valentine. Thank you very much for the very relatable questions. And I think everyone will agree with me that the presenters have made the job a lot easier. And thank you for the wonderful presentations. The first question about the kind of soap that was suitable. So this is just to have the idea. First, it depends on each person's personal irritation of some sort. Some people, for example, are allergic to very dense soaps with some smell, and so that's where it comes from. So mostly that can be resolved by thorough rinsing. So we would highly encourage that there is thorough rinsing on that part. But as for the type of soaps, I don't think we'll be that specific as to what people must use. The reason is kind of very basic, because you don't want to you know, have some people to have to use certain type of soaps, because that in itself can become a problem. Not every person may be able to get certain type of soap. And that's just on the question regarding whether the soap should be mild. I would say that what can really be suffice for this is to have a thorough rinsing. For the sun drying, I think the main goal of this, based on the UN specification, is that the drying should be done, like, you don't want to have moist in the pad for a long period of time. So you want to sun dry it and have it dried up before storage. So this is what the like I'm trying to emphasize on the intended message now. I don't know if this answer your question, please.
Yes.
And then I will talk about the ironing part, which is the last part. That takes me back to one of the things that one of the presenters already hammered on, which makes, again, the job very easy. One of the core difference between the plastic pad and the reusable pad, for me, in my understanding, is just two things. The first one is the material, and the second is the usage style. The material being what we've already been listening to. And in our own setting, we got this to be organic Nigerian cotton, organic cotton more generally. And there is a part of material which is referred to as the bamboo material. These materials are expected to just be left in the natural way. Iron pressing it can influence the texture and composition of such material. So iron pressing a reusable pad isn't what I think would be ideal. And I don't see the reason for it. Please help me. I'm not able to use any of those. I believe other people could have more correct answer to this, but I think I just want to say this in the light of what the materials have been, of the usage style being that you want to reuse this. If you want it to be super flat, and that's why it's been, again, that's really depend on individual difference. But I think yeah, this is the responses I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your response. I think that's good enough. I was just trying to have a general view of the entire washing process and keeping it safe afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Valentine. I hope you will pass on this information now that you know. Yeah.
Of course. I'll start with my wife.
Yeah. Regina, you had a question?
Yeah, I do have a question, and thank you so much again for your presentation, Gloria and Khadija. I'm very intrigued because I always see this issue of reusable pads, and for me it's a no-no. But now that you're presenting it like this, I feel like I'm kind of buying into the idea. And I just have yeah. One is about, like, does the pad come in a way that it's suited for different flows, like people with heavier flows or light flows? And also, if I got one, it seems like I can't get just one reusable pad. I'd have to get like a set of maybe 5 or so, right? So how long should I expect that these pads are going to last me? Is it a year? Is it 6 months? Yeah, what's the yeah, let me just say, like, what's the sustainability period of these reusable pads?
Well, I could give a quick answer to this. So, in terms of the usage, um, so basically, based on what we have started with production recently, we looked at okay, the heavy flow, the medium, and light, because the woman body is, you have women who have heavy flows, you have those who have light, and so on. So the production actually puts this criteria into consideration. That's one part. And sometimes you also have situations where maybe you have maybe heavy flow in the first day, and then towards the end it's light. So all those are also taken into consideration. So which also answers the second part of your question, which is, yeah, you have to, in just for example, one of the packs that we put together, we have like 3 to 4 pads, which kind of like, if you use it for the first day, then when you wash it, you can't use it for the second day. Like you have to use another one. So maybe in a particular cycle, you need at least 3 to 4 of the reusable pads, which also leads me to the last question you asked on the length, the duration, durability, which this has to do with the number of washes. So if you're washing at least like I mentioned with the feedback forms that we've given out to this beneficiaries, we were looking at them using it at least maybe 60 to 80 washes. So with that, we also would look at, okay, after this period of time, is it still usable? Like, does it still maintain the material, the performance? So all those things we also have to look at it, like maybe after the, like I said, first 3 months. So that is like, this is like a pilot test. So we also have to like go back again to see, okay, the um the performance of the materials, and also in terms of the health um connection to it, like, okay, is it still okay for the person to use it after certain amount of washes? So this is something, like I said, it's like a pilot study, which, yeah, at the end of the day, we'll only find this out like after the 3rd month of use from this beneficiary. So we'll get like the questionnaires from them, and then we get to know, like, okay, how do you feel after certain period of time. But during production, we already put these materials to ensure that they are durable materials, like cotton, bamboo fibers, that at least even after usage should last at least 60 washes. So yeah, that's,
Can I add something?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like she said, the durability, absorbance, and all that are being taken care of. I know that most times we'll be kind of concerned that there are some parts that when you buy them, they are really flat. When you put them on, you don't feel anything. You can fly and jump fence. Most of those things, don't mind me, most of those things, they are all being considered, yes. And remember, most of those parts that to you, they are very flat. I can even wear one for the whole day without staining my pants. That durability is depending on the amount of chemical that is used in making it to lap like that. I don't know if I'm making sense. And remember, most of them have direct contact with us. Like some women will say, hi, there's a particular pampers. I don't want to mention the name to avoid, my child wears it. My child can use one from morning till now. No stain, nothing. If he pees, in fact, if you remove it, it's still dry for the whole day. That thing is the amount of chemical that is used in producing that plastic that is absorbing that, after absorbing it, to make it as if nothing has happened. And the more let me say, the absorbance or whatever, the more the chemical they added in it. So, but with this initiative, there are special materials that have been kind of mapped out for this kind of a thing. And depending on your flow, there is material for everybody. So it's just for us to kind of take up the initiative and things will change. I believe so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Gloria. That's good to know, at least. Olachi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well.
Alachi.
Olachi had a question. You have your hand raised.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm so glad for this wonderful enlightenment. Anyway, so please, my question is, what's the best way to dispose these reusable parts? What's the best way? For me, I burn my parts. Okay, so if I burn this, is it not? Are we not going back to the use of these chemicals and maybe channeling them back to the ocean and all that? So what's the best way to dispose these parts? Then secondly, I don't know, I overheard the second presenter, she talked about using Ankara and bamboo. I don't know how you people produced it anyway. But if you're using bamboo, as you keep washing it, don't you think the particles and all that will be maybe loosened up and all that? Are we not still going back to this thing we are trying to avoid? So that's my question, please. Thank you.
Sorry, if I may, I just want to go over this. Perhaps I know this is something that, but quite frankly, reusable part is not a extremely new thing. That's just the first part. A lot of people have been doing it, and I think I gave an example at some point that as far back as about 5 years ago, I have been saying reusable pad, although that was back then, I think in France, so in Europe. So a lot of people have already been using it at the time. The bamboo material that we talked about, actually, I don't know, Dr. Khadija, do you mind sharing your screen again, please? Just to help explain with some visual guide. So since we're all familiar with cotton, there is hardly, so it's called bamboo material, but it's not the way and look perhaps we imagine that maybe some particles will be falling off. It would really look like the organic cotton that we know. And that's the one in the example that Khadija shared earlier. Maybe when the screen is up, we can see it again. I think the picture here kind of shows it enough. So it's really a normal material. There is no likelihood of anything falling off in terms of particle because it's bamboo material. The bamboo material, I think, I'm not too familiar, but I think it's a grade of quality, and this happens to be the highest. If it's not bamboo material, it would have been an organic cotton. That's the other type of materials that are very common in the market, and people who do this do it for commercial purpose as well. This is not the very familiar one in the market because it's more expensive or is the most quality. Most people will just use anything like with nearly 100% or 90 and above percentage of cotton in it. I don't know if this answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Just to chip in briefly, I did not understand that answer well because that was my very question. Like, what is the best way exactly to? Maybe I missed it. What is the best way exactly to dispose them of? Like, I know they're made of bamboo and all this, but like, how am I going to dispose them of to make sure I'm not hurting the same environment that we are trying to, the same thing we're running away from?
Great question. I will try, and I think there are more expert people here, and then they will take it from me if that is good. So It's because so I think I like the way it was introduced at the very beginning. One of the reasons why um, 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 such materials are considered is because it's biodegradable. It's so it can be disposed like every other thing you dispose in the environment. And based on the UN specification, this can, I think, would say anything above 60 cycle of wash, but UN recommend anything around 100 cycle of wash. So that is after that time, and one wants to dispose it, you can dispose it like the way you dispose any of your clothing material. Again, because there's neither any plastic in it or any chemical in it, as we already learned earlier. Please, anyone
Yeah,
is
so
welcome to
well,
contribute.
it's similar
Let me,
to
okay.
what you just said because it's reusable. Like, it could just be termed as if we're disposing it. Okay, for example, here in Germany, we have like different um what's it called again? Like garbage sections. So you have food, you have plastic, you have this. So also for this, it also goes into recycle section, which at the end of the day it can be used, recycled into something else. So disposing, yeah. Now if I'm talking about in Nigeria, all you need to do is put it in put them together, and yeah, you could burn it as you said. That makes it easier. Or if there is any location that okay, you could dispose recycle materials, then you can dispose them there, because at the end of the day it's can be reused into something else, or it can also, you know, decompose like biodegradably. Like, so that is why these materials are used.
Let me just add a little bit something. Can you hear me?
Mm.
Okay. Like when I was presenting, there was a kind of comparison I showed where I compared the disposable plastic parts and the reusable. Yes. So from that, I don't want to go back. Sorry, I don't waste our time. From the comparison, I showed you that the decomposition time 500 to 800 years. Why that of the reusable? It doesn't take time. And because it doesn't have plastic, it doesn't have dangerous chemicals and all that. If you put it in the environment, it will just degrade. The normal time it's supposed to degrade. So it's not a problem. All these things have been taken into consideration before choosing the materials for the production of the reusable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Doria and Khadija, for the answers, and also Lukman. I think Mashanti had a hand raised. Mashanti, could you please, can you hear me? Okay, moving on to Valentine. Wait, Mashanti, if you are ready. Obem, Mashanti Obem Martin, you have a hand raised. Okay, I think when she's ready, she'll share with
Can you?
us.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Good
please.
evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah, good
can.
evening.
Okay, I'm so sorry I joined very late. I want to ask, since we are talking about reusable parts, this is the first time I'm actually hearing about reusable parts, and I'm really, really happy. I want to ask, if it will be coming in the form of disposable parts. I don't know if you know disposable pants. So I don't know if the parts will be coming in that form. like they are coming, the pads are coming in pants form, or if they're just coming as pad, because I don't really know what it looks like. I'll be seeing it for the first time on this platform. So I don't know if you can enlighten me. I'm really sorry I came late.
No problem. I think I can take that. Kadida, can I?
Oh, sure.
All right. Yes. Your question is if they will be coming in the form of this, that is sanitary pants, right?
Pants, yes.
Okay. You know, this is a new initiative in Nigeria. In Africa, let me use that word. But down here is no longer a new thing. Over here, there are pants that have been made with such materials. They are all sold in the mall. But in Nigeria, because it's something that is new, that is still coming, so as time goes on, I know they will put it in that form. But for now, it will be packed in the same way that the plastic sanitary pad is packed. I don't know if you're getting me. It's the same
I
way, the same
do.
flatness, the same packaging, everything. They will all look alike. The only thing is that this one is of plastic and this one is not of plastic. But as time goes on, because over here, I know people that are using this one you're talking about. She uses it
Okay.
every month. She bought about 5 or thereabout. Every day she has one for her menstrual flu and all that. Then at the end of the day, she'll just pack them and keep. Next month, she uses them again. So because over here in Germany, we have seen many, it's not a new thing. But in Africa, it's still something that is coming up. So with time, I know
It's
we'll get
okay.
there. Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you, Mashanti, for the question. Valentine, I think you'll be our last question for the day. And if there are any other questions, Khadija and Gloria and Lukman can share their contacts so that they can be reached directly for any further questions. So please, Valentine.
Okay, thank you once again for the opportunity. So I want to ask about the cost, the economics, the affordability. Because one thing with Nigeria, Africa in general, is that if it's not affordable, people will fall back to the disposable parts again. So I don't know whether you've done like a bit of cost analysis of comparing what the cost of affording this is like and what the cost of affording the disposable part, because it's also a huge factor in the market. Thank you.
Dr. Lukman, do you want to take this or should I?
Um, I was also skeptical about it, but at least I have 1 or 2 lines to do my 2%, and then everyone can contribute. I think everyone is welcome to share their opinion. So in my opinion, I think using the plastic pad is far more expensive in many ways. But what we can do at this point is to create sufficient awareness for people to make the right choice. We may now be aware of how or what sort of implication can come with the plastic pads over time. Compared with the reusable pad, I think considering the material being used and that there is no side effect also, I think the plastic one remain the most expensive. However, because this process has not been fully streamlined, I do not have the market analysis, but I'm very much aware that the materials sourced in terms of the organic cotton and so on is it's marginally higher than the plastic parts or the single-use parts in the market. This is because of several reasons. One, there are very few people into doing this, so neither the skill nor the resource have been well distributed or made available for people who are currently investing into this. So I think what can help widen the margin and drop the cost is having access to more materials, and having more people do this could help, which is one of the reasons for this advocacy programs. Yeah, please, everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lukman. I also think the other thing about cost effectiveness is that for the plastic pads, we have to buy these monthly, yeah, and for the reusable one, you do not have to buy monthly, like because obviously it's reusable, so you don't have to buy it monthly, and yeah, and sometimes depending on the flow and all these other things, you might end up you don't just use one packet. So yeah, that's obviously in terms of cost effectiveness already making it much cheaper. So we have come to the end of our sensitization today. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for the questions, for the input, and for listening. It's been a wonderful session. And I think I have learned a lot. I hope that everyone else has also learned a lot. You can reach the AFL, African Future Leaders Initiative, on all the social media platforms for any further questions. I don't know if Lukman and Khadija have any other closing remarks, and also Gloria.
They can all go first. Yes, I do have closing remarks.
Okay, let me go first.
Please.
Yeah, just like we've been preaching, I think the best we can do is just like Mr. Val said that he's going to start with his wife. I think that's a very good starting point. Yeah. Just start with whomever you're with. Yes. Start in your little niche to preach this gospel, because if more people get to know the dangers, I guess it will not be very hard to talk them into the switching. Yes, that was why we started with listing out the dangers, the things that it has got to do in our health and the environment. So just spread out the news, let people know what they are being exposed to. Because there are many, apart from pad, pampers and all that, there are many things around us that most times I have to just close my eyes, because down here, most of those chemicals and the materials have been banned, but they are still being used very well in our countries. Just like the example I gave with the flame retardant they add in the foam. We sleep on that foam every day. Our kids sleep on it. Because of these things, they are added as addictives. They are added as addictive. They tend to leach out into the environment. And as they are leaking out, you are taking them. The emission is there, and we are taking them. In one way or the other, they will still find their way into the stream, from the streams back to our table. At the end of the day, we can see that if we did not take time, just like Carol Castle said, if we did not take time, that silent spring, we are not praying for it, and we don't want it to come. So let's just start wherever we are. Start with your friends, families, spread out the news, even to your enemy. Don't allow your enemy to die. Thank you.
This is my Lukman. In one brief minute, feel free to give us any closing remarks you have.
Dr. Khadija, okay. Thank you very much. I think it's really a fulfilling opportunity for us to have engaged in this, and we think it's a big win when we hear people say, "Oh, I'm hearing this for the first time," or
Yeah.
I don't even know what it looks like." I cannot imagine. I cannot explain how nice that is to hear, that finally we're bringing some people who may not have heard of this. I want to sincerely thank all of the people who have made presentation today, Dr. Khadija, and also, sorry, I'm missing your last name. I think that's the name. Chidiebere. I see.
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria. Yes, I think that's the
Okay.
name I was trying to call. Yeah. So I'm really excited, and I want to sincerely thank you, Gloria, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you, Khadija, for the wonderful presentation. These are some of the things we thought could help bridge the commons and help people. We've talked about how these help students stay back in school, that people who experience period poverty know that this is a big deal. For us, it's
Yeah.
just a matter of choice. we may have the same money, it could buy reusable or non-reusable. That's because for us, we have the choice. Not many people do that. And so we want to, we hope this help inspire each and every one of everybody here to also chart the way forward, try to see how they can encourage people in this direction. That's why we're having this conversation, just to see how we can inspire a chain of that, a little bit of tilt towards what we think would be environmentally friendly, because for us in this project, the target goal is to divert at least 1 metric ton of reusable part disposal. Imagine if everyone, you know, find someone to convince here and there over time. I think that would be a wonderful achievement, especially over time. We've also seen the analysis of a single person using this. I think, if I remember, was it several thousands of cycles that a person would use in a lifetime. So this is how we can spark the chain reaction to think in this kind of climate friendly, climate action way. I want to thank everyone present here, and yeah, Heliot is reachable via info@heliotfoundation.org. Thank you very much.
Oh, please, sorry, I know you are making your closing remark. Yes, my name is Ngozi from Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, I got this invite through a schoolmate of mine, who happened to be sister to Gloria that made the presentation, and I am quite impressed, even though I don't use pad anymore because of my age, but my children out there. So I'm just trying to ask now, when is this product going to be available? When is it going to be available? Because we are waiting.
Thank you very much. So we are grateful to have had the British Council to help put this into life as in some communities in Abuja. And as Dr. Khadija mentioned earlier, one of the goals intended is actually to scale this up to be able to cover several parts of not only Nigeria, but also several parts of Africa. And we are not thinking this will be possible just by producing more pads. And that's why we're approaching this in two different ways. First, we're helping to engage the people who already do this as business. And also we're training women in the community who would rather it will come to these people as in terms of skill acquisition, economic support. So they learn these skills, and we provide how to, go into kind of enterprise startup with this. We're thinking if there are more women who have the skill to meet the United Nations standards in producing these parts, then we are able to have it in different parts of Africa, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is the kind of that's why I mentioned earlier how the chain reaction can help. I am extremely happy to hear, especially how you get to hear about this and the fact that you still remain here. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for the wonderful question.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Okay, thank you all and have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.
I dropped the link of Heliot. Anyone is welcome, and you can send us an email via the email address. Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
We end it from here. I don't know.
Thank you, the moderator. I'm very grateful. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, for your time and everything. Bye.